Well, Mr. Speaker, now that the Prime Minister's minister in charge of Jasper's recovery has resigned under a cloud of suspicion, who's going to oversee the rebuilding of this beautiful community? Will it be the radical Environment Minister, who ignored warnings for years from forestry experts that the dead forest around Jasper was a powder keg waiting to blow? Will the Prime Minister assure Canadians that he won't put the radical minister who failed the community by allowing it to burn in the first place in charge of Jasper and towns like it again?
The Honourable Minister for the Environment and Climate Change.
This member should be ashamed of the previous government's record in the protection of Jasper, Mr. Speaker. Do you know how much they invested in 2011 for fire protection in Jasper? Zero. Do you know how much they invested in 2012? Zero. Do you know how much they invested in 2013? Zero. 2014? Zero. 2015? Zero. We've invested more than $60 million in fire prevention in Jasper. They did absolutely nothing.
The Liberals are just losing it today.
Order! Order!
Which roof were you on?
Order!
We're climbing on the Premier's roof in 2011. No, 2006.
The Honourable Member for Mississauga East, Cooksville.
Well, Mr. Speaker, while the Leader of the Opposition silences and strong-arms his caucus into being his mouthpiece in their communities, our government is listening to Canadians. What are our neighbours telling me, Mr. Speaker? That while inflation is easing, life can still be challenging. They've also told me that our government has been there to support them through difficult times, but they're worried about the added costs of the upcoming holiday season. So, Mr. Speaker, could the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General, please tell us what our government is doing to put more money in the pockets of Canadians?
Yeah. The Honourable Minister of Justice and Attorney General.
I want to thank my colleague for that important question. We are starting off the new year on the right foot. Today we announced we are giving all Canadians a tax break by exempting the GST and HST on things Canadians care about so they can buy essentials like groceries, snacks, and kids' clothing tax-free. We're also introducing the Working Canadians rebate, which will put $250 directly back into the pockets of working Canadians, 18 million plus working Canadians. The question for this chamber is, will the members opposite have the courage to stand up to their leader, to free themselves from this gag order that he's imposed upon them and come out in favour of the tax break?
And I ask the Honourable Member from New Westminster Burnaby for the second time today to please not take the floor when not recognised by the chair. L'honorable député.
The Honourable Member for Charlebourg-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, the Journal de Montréal newspaper reported this morning that a woman on Montreal's North Shore had her car stolen twice, and to add insult to injury, her insurance premiums went up over $7,000 a year. What's more, she was required to install the tag tracking system or she would have been denied coverage. Once again, it's the victims who end up paying for the Prime Minister's incompetence. His inaction on public safety speaks louder than his long, boring speeches on the subject. When will he wake up? The Honourable Minister of Public Safety. Mr. Speaker, we are concerned, like all members here, when we hear stories like that. And that's precisely why we've been working with the police, whether it's the Montreal Police, the Quebec Provincial Police, or other police forces in Quebec or other provinces. We've transferred hundreds of millions of dollars to support this important work. We increased funding for the RCMP, for staff, and we will continue to fight circumstances that are wholly unacceptable, like the ones my colleague just described. The Honourable Member. Well, to add to that, we learned this morning, for the second time in 24 hours, car thieves deliberately drove into the police who were trying to stop them in Montreal's Côte-des-Neiges area. One of the three criminals, Abdurrahman Tabyab Ali, was already awaiting trial on three separate cases for vehicle theft, accessory after the fact, forcible confinement, armed assault, robbery, breaking and entering, and death threats. How many women have to be assaulted or how many police officers killed before the Prime Minister cracks down on these criminals? The Honourable Minister of Justice and Attorney General. I'd like to thank the member for the question, not just for the opportunity to point out the facts, but also to say that what we've seen in Quebec with CBSA is a decrease of car thefts in Quebec by 48%. What the member opposite raises is important because it has to do with the administration of justice provincially by Quebec's courts. Do we have enough police officers? Do we have enough justices of the peace in the right place? Do we have room in jails? Those are important questions that should be asked of Mr. Legault.
The honourable member from Coast of Bay Central Notre Dame.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. After 9 years, these NDP Liberals are not worth the cost, crime and corruption. Last week I attended a town hall on crime in Somerford, Notre Dame Bay, where the RCMP were also present. Residents told them that it's gotten so bad that they're sleeping with guns next to their beds. The RCMP basically said that their hands are tied by this Liberal, soft-on-crime justice system. So will the Prime Minister call an election and let the people have their say on whether his crime record is good or bad?
The Honourable Minister of Justice and Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, the concerns about community safety are concerns that touch all of us in every community. What I would say with respect to the combat against gun violence in our communities right around this country is look at the Liberal record. What we've done is we've put a ban on assault rifles. What we've done is we put a freeze on handguns. Most importantly, we are investing on our borders to interdict the traffic of arms between different countries, particularly on our southern border. That's important for keeping Canadians safe, and that was in place of investments that have been cut by the previous government. That's the Liberal record. I would hope that the Conservatives will get behind basic community safety.